Bienvenidas to Latina Literati, a channel for Latinas and the Latina friendly, where we take you to places, discuss books, ideas, so join us.
We're going to begin our day today in one of the cafes best known in Guatemala. It's called Café Saul, and they're known for their happy hens, and their happy hens produce the eggs that are served here every morning. We're going to have a typical Guatemalan breakfast, or at least the ingredients of a typical Guatemalan breakfast. Guatemala is the largest city in Central America and the largest economy of Central America. So today we're going to be looking at a couple of wonderful places, specifically a bookstore that I love to visit when I am in Guatemala.
And I'm so excited today to bring you to one of my favorite places on earth. We're in Sophos, a wonderful bookstore in Guatemala City. Sophos, as you know, means knowledge in Greek. Well, that's exactly what you get here. Sophos is a beautiful place, more than a bookstore. It's a reading place, and we're going to take you through it and show you some of the books that we recommend when you next want to learn a bit more about this wonderful place called Guatemala. In 1998, a sacred year for me because it was the year that I became a mother. So Sophos is not just a bookstore. They have a whole review, a whole variety of cultural programs, and those cultural programs include children's programs, of course a book club. They even have a group of aspiring writers that gets together on a monthly basis to write. They of course have programs, presentation of books, and talks on books for adults. And if it could get any better, they also have a vegetarian-friendly cafe with really delicious food. So it's a beautiful place. It's a wonderful place to curl up and read an old book or a new book. And so if you're in Guatemala or when you're next in Guatemala, check out Sophos in Plaza Varela. And now for my book recommendations, always my favorite part of the video. So the first book is called Jungle of Stone, and I don't have it with me because it was a library book and I returned it, but I will have a picture of it on the screen, and of course in the description box I'll have links for you to purchase or take a look at the books. Or of course the first and best option is always to go to your local library and check it out. So Jungle of Stone is an amazing story of these two men. One is a British architect, and the other one is a lawyer out of New York. And Stephens, the New York lawyer, convinces Catherwood to travel in the 1800s throughout Mexico, Guatemala, Honduras, to look for these cities of stone that they've been told exist. And so Stephens is actually given credentials as a representative of the U.S. government, so he's able to come. But Central America is literally in the fit of a separation. It was once an entire country, right? So it was the nation of Central America, and there are fits of revolutions all over. So it's quite a dangerous place to be. And if you're not from the tropics, they both get infected by malaria and injuries and all sorts of adventures. But what happens is that Catherwood is so sensitive, such an amazing artist, that his renditions of the Mayan cities of Palenque, Uxmal, Quiriguá, Copan are to this day used by Mayan experts, because since that time, what he drew no longer exists. It was, of course, subject to the ravages of the elements and of ransacking. People have taken things, and also the vegetation and the tropical medium in which these cities of stone start to disintegrate on some level. And so his renderings and drawings are so beautiful that he would eventually even publish just his artistic works of the Mayan cities. And so the book is fascinating because it combines not just their adventures, but what's happening historically both in the U.S. and in Europe and in Central America. Really interesting. I highly recommend it. I thoroughly enjoyed the book, and I hope that you will too. So that's kind of the historical book that I'm recommending from 2 centuries ago, and I'm kind of moving forward to the 1900s to the only Central American Nobel laureate, and this is his definitive work called Men of Maize, Hombres de Maize, and basically it is stories of traditional Mayan myths and religion, but obviously told by someone who is not Mayan himself, but the stories are absolutely enthralling. You'll enjoy it, and obviously he won the Nobel Prize because of not this book, but another book. But it's really worthwhile reading, and I highly recommend it. Definitive. The third book that I'm going to recommend then brings us forward. You can't talk about Central America without talking about the Civil War and civil upheavals. And so this is a riveting book. It's called Bitter Fruit, and it is the play-by-play history of the CIA intervention and coup in 1954 in Guatemala, and what that means. In other words, the reason why there are civil wars is because the U.S. intervenes, puts in dictators, and of course the people are upset when their rights are taken away, and there's all sorts of violence against the people, right? So it's interesting because in Guatemala, it's actually the military officials that revolt against the U.S. imposed dictatorship. So the whole 30-year history of civil war in Central America is fascinating, but this is a good read, and it's told by someone who worked in the U.S. government. So there's kind of insider perspective on this book. So it's called Bitter Fruit. Again, I'll put it in the description box, and it's the second book in English. So hopefully you'll be able to enjoy it as well if you like this kind of intrigue, international conspiracy type books. This is a great one. The last book I'm going to recommend today, I just fell in love with. I've been told that it is being translated. It's Migrante, which is migrant, and it's the story of an indigenous young man who is forced to migrate with his family. And he's so bright that a teacher takes interest in him and encourages him to go to college, which he had not even considered. He's doing maintenance jobs with his family, etc. But he ends up going to college, getting into the tech world, and setting up one of the largest tech companies, and coming back to Guatemala to give other indigenous youth tech training so that they can then live better lives and earn great salaries. And it's an amazing story. It was so hopeful, so filled with what the future can hold in an economy where there's equal access to education, and where opportunities really are for anyone who has the abilities to work. So it's a wonderful book. I hope that it comes out in English soon, and I'll leave the link for the Spanish version in the description box. Again, really recommend it. It's very heartfelt. Really walk his path with him, and so read it if you can in Spanish or wait for the English translation. Thank you so much for taking this journey with us to Sophos and to Guatemala City. I hope you've enjoyed the tidbits of history and book reviews that I've shared with you today. Thank you so much for arriving to the end of the video, and we hope to bring you more videos. If there's specific things that you'd like us to talk about, please leave them in the description box. And as always, please like and subscribe. If you like this video, please share it with your friends and family. Thank you so much. Siempre deseamos mucha salud, mucho amor. Gracias.